Hey, Cleveland, what's going on, buddy? It is brutal cold out there today. But it's warm in here, so I can probably take my hoodie off. Oh my. Hey Cleveland, you want to see something? Here's one of the take this off. Turn around. Here's one of these giant cutting boards. Hey Alex. Yeah. Nothing straight here. And then here's another giant cutting board. They're not finished yet, obviously. Ran out of time to get them sanded. It's an off-cut cherry right there into a step stool today. Am I buffering? Let me make sure I'm... Alright. Is that any better? Better? Yes? No? Oh. Okay. Alright, good. I was still on Wi-Fi, and the Wi-Fi signal out here is real weak. So I turned it off. Just went to cellular. I'm going to have to put an extender out here. I did add a second light there above that little workbench, or what's supposed to be a workbench. It's now just storage. It's a little brighter in here now. Gotta get this stupid thing to adjust. Alright. So what have y'all been up to on Saturday here? No, not bourbon today. This is just Jack. Winter Jack. I thought about breaking into the good stuff, but time jigs, nice. You do really good work, Alex. I've seen him on Turner's stream. Really nice. I'm gonna have to move this countertop. It's about what it is. It's a daggone countertop. Pop this other one out of clamps, stand them both up somewhere, and I'll finish them later. That way I can throw the planer up and the chop saw. Because we're just going to build a little step stool today. Something simple, easy, and I like cherry wood, so we'll make it out of cherry. Although I can't find any of my chisels. Would have been nice to build like a box joint. I could mortise them. Maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll mortise the legs into the top, punch some screws down. Hey Dade, how you doing? Yeah, the working full time, Alex. That working full time and having a side gig, that tends to get exhausting real quick. I know. I get I'm so far behind right now. It's not even funny. But I'm slowly catching up. All right. We'll put the whiskey away. Grab a beer. I wonder if I don't get the random viewers because I drink first thing on stream. And YouTube's like, nah, we don't need that guy here. Alright, I'm gonna break this other one down. Ugh. Clamp glued fast. Dade, how you doing today, buddy? Oh, I can't really complain. Doesn't do any good anyway. $11 o'clock? Yeah. Yeah, that would have annoyed me too. Dropped this other cutting board on my hand earlier, and I haven't rounded over the corners yet because I haven't cut anything. I haven't even done the sanding yet on them, but it's still got stupid sharp corners. Dropped it on my hand, cut my finger. I was like, "Yep, all right, gonna have to round those corners off real quick." This is what the second one looks like coming out of the clamps. Ignore all the glue, that'll get scraped off and sanded and whatnot. In fact, I think this was the one that I glued up half of it last week. On the ground right now, Alex, here, I've got a dusting. Up in Erie, I guess they got hammered over the last half of the week. So it never made it south of the highway, so it didn't make it to me, thankfully. We just got brutal cold. Thanks, Alex. I appreciate that. I think this one looks really nice. And that cherry, the two big pieces of cherry here, will definitely darken up and redden up over time, which will make it look so much nicer. But I gotta scrape this glue off. And the same with this other one. This one just has more, this has the two smaller black walnut strips. The other one, I didn't put the two black walnut strips in, just the one down the center, because I wanted them to be different. I don't like making the same thing over and over, especially when they're both going to the same person. You know, I don't want two identical boards. 2 to 3 feet. I'll be honest, I haven't been to Erie all week. So I don't know how much they got. I've been on. I had vacation all this week. Did some hunting. Got a couple of deer. Got one last night with my truck. I got 2 deer hanging in the shed. Hey, Robert. How you doing? Thanks, buddy. Cornhole boards that look like that. Really? You know, I was thinking, because I made, I don't know if you can see them. They're back here. Right there. Some very basic cornhole boards, just because I wanted a set of cornhole. And I wanted them now. So I just got some plywood and some cheap 1x4s and threw them together. I built a set for a friend of mine. Did a decal on it for West Virginia. If I remember, I'll post a picture of them. I don't think I have any pictures of the framing. I just have a picture of the with the decal on and the paint done. But I was wondering if doing glue ups like this would work or if it would split. Because obviously you don't want it to be 2 inches thick. That'd be a little overkill. You'd never move the things. At least I wouldn't. I wouldn't want to move. I'd park them in the yard and that's where they'll stay for the rest of the time. Nice. I got a guy that I can get decals from. They look really nice, and they got you can get them with a laminate or lamination on them, so that it's not just the ink print or whatever it is, like the bags are scraping on it. It's got a protective coating on it. So far, they seem to last, and I haven't had any issues with any of them peeling up. I haven't sold any to anybody other than that one set that gets used. Well, during the summer, it gets used all the time. Hi, Maya. How you doing? So, I'm thinking that guy's going to be my supplier for the decals in the future. I was worried about them peeling, especially in the corners and stuff, but that doesn't seem to have any issues. I don't know if they can hold up to rain or anything like that, but Maya, how cold is it where you are? I know you're in Norway, if I believe, or if I recall. I want to say Norway. I might be very wrong. This is the other board, in case anybody was wondering. This one's been scraped. It needs to be sanded. Obviously, it'll be cut. Put a 45 on the bottom on all sides. I'll come down about a ½ an inch or so from the top. And, I mean, it needs to be trimmed up flush on the edges and stuff. But that'll be one. I need to find a place to put these if they'll be out of the way. Over here seems like a good idea. Oh, I was right. I remembered something. Hi, John. How you doing? Jay Fishing. What's up, buddy? 26 is a lot better than 6. Yeah, Alex, I get that kind of stuff a lot, which I guess, I mean, it makes me feel good, but I don't know who's spending this kind of money on a cutting board that they're not going to use. This guy, he says he's going to use his. Um, the one I just showed you is going to be for his kid, I think. I'm not sure. He's buying it as a Christmas gift. Um, I have to do some engraving on it, which means that Cleveland's little signs will be going on the back burner. I've got a pile of them, Cleveland. This is probably backwards. I don't know how to fix that. I got a pile of them here. Almost done. I got 3 more sections to cut, so 18 more to cut. So, Cleveland, this is with a fill. I just did a spray fill on it. This, I mean, ignore the tape, but this is without a fill. And then sometimes they get a little dirtier like that. Do you not want them filled, or do you want some filled, or? I'd peel the tape off, but then I wouldn't be able to fill it. Here's one that got messed up with no fill. I peeled the tape off of that one. Hi, Turner. I'll be honest, Cleveland, I don't remember what that one looked like. I don't remember if that one had a fill or not. Email me a picture of it. Yeah. Yeah, these are the ones that Cleveland's got. I got 18 more to cut and engrave. So he'll get a couple extra. But yeah, you'll have to email me a picture of it, because I can't remember if they were filled or not. That was just a test run, and it came out nice, so I sent it. Oh my. Alright, I have to scrape this cutting board first before we get started. I think it was just original. Alright. Yeah, I can send them just as is. That's fine. If you don't like them, send them back. I'll figure it out. Or you don't have to send them back. Just let me know. I'll redo a bunch for you. It takes time, but each set of these, each set of 6 of these, because I'd have to burn through the tape, so that I don't get burn marks all over the wood. So I got to do a couple low power passes to burn through the tape, and then do a couple passes to actually engrave it, and then cut it. Each set definitely takes some time. But if I don't burn through the tape, anywhere that the tape overlaps, there will be a line there that doesn't get engraved at all in most cases. Uh, so, got to burn through the tape first. But yeah, they definitely take some time. I usually just run them overnight or when I'm done being in the shop. That way, it can be in here filling the place up with smoke and I don't have to be here. And I'm saving time because I don't have to babysit it. Alright, I gotta scrape this. You guys can, I don't know, watch me scrape it if you want, I guess. And then we're gonna make our, we're gonna start on our step stool. Just burn. Oh wow, my chat was frozen. Thanks, Robert. I appreciate that. Have a hope you have a successful hunt. Alright, so I'm just scraping off this glue and the seam, getting it so it's flat, well, clean, and then it makes life easier when I sand, because I'm not trying to fight the glue. And then I'm gonna put this. I'll put this over there with the other one because this isn't what we're doing today. I'm not gonna make you guys watch me sand cutting boards for 2 hours. Alright, that's not half bad. Take care of that with sandpaper. Alright, let's get you guys repositioned proper. Oh. This size board, I don't make very often. This was a special order, so I hope none of y'all get any ideas about ordering one. It's not fun. I don't. It's giving me flashbacks to building my countertops. I mean, to be fair, if you want one, I'll make one. Alright, so what we need to do is set up for a step stool. We're going to make this one out of cherry, just because this is the board that I have here. And I don't really feel like messing with any reclaimed wood or anything like that. I don't want to do any glue ups, so cherry will be cherry it is. So what we're going to do is we're going to figure out how big of a step stool we want. So I figure let's see, how much usable wood do I have? 4 feet. So we could make it 22 inches in the top, a 22-inch wide top. Anybody should be able to stand on that. And then like 1 foot legs. That's probably not bad. It's probably not a bad size. Probably even cut it down to 20 inch on the top. And then come in 3 inches from each side, put the legs. And then we'll have to run a stringer, which I really wish I could find my chisel. The stringer would be really nice to mortise and tenon. I don't know what I did with them. They're somewhere. Alright, so I'm going to grab the chop saw. We're going to go with a 20-inch top and probably a foot size, 12-inch size. That's a significant step stool. Maybe go 10 inches on the sides. So it's a little A little less aggressive. Oh, we'll see. I want to thank you guys for popping in and watching. You guys are kind of the best, so. Alright, make sure that's square. It should be square up and down. I haven't moved it. These cuts are so small that it won't really matter vertically. Yes, Maya. It's time to make some noise, I suppose. John, that's exactly what happens to me. I'll be like, man, I can't find these chisels anywhere. And then I'll go and buy a new set. Or two, so that way I can lose one. And then I'll find the chisels again. And then I'll have a bunch. And then what I'll do is I'll set them places so that I remember that that's where they are. And then I will immediately forget where that place was. Alright. So we're just going to square this side off. We're going to run it through the table saw after this rough cutting is done here. And then when we go through the table saw, we'll end up squaring everything else up. Same problem with your art supplies. I'm glad that this is a common issue. It's not just me being poorly organized. All right, gonna make a little bit of noise here. Oh man. Okay. All right. So I'm going to cut them a little big because I'm going to square them up on the table saw using the sled. So I'll go like 12 1/4 for the sides. 12 1/2 maybe. Yeah, we'll go 12 1/2. John, that's funny. All right. So I think we want a 20-ish top. So I'll go 20 and a half. Then I'll cut the other leg. Alright. We do have to run these all through the planer, but that won't take long. We just need to get them down to smooth. That's all I'm looking for. We're not trying to take any real warp. So here's the thing with a planer, in case nobody knows this, right? So if I have a 6-foot long board, right, and there's a twist in it, the whole length of that board, to flatten that out, you're going to take off a lot of material. But if you have small pieces, now granted these aren't big enough to have any waste material like for a snipe or anything that might happen, but if you have small pieces, now that twist that was over a 6-foot board is now over a 1-foot board, so almost negligible. So you have to take off very little material, so you still get to keep your thickness. So a little tip of the trick of the trade, I guess. All right. So I think what we're going to do is I'll just go ahead and run these through the planer real quick, and then we will dig out the table saw over here. Man, you guys should see my basement right now. It is now that it's all cleaned up, the basement, the back room, all storage for materials, for finished projects, for projects that are at different levels of finishing. Poor dehumidifier has been running like crazy this week, but it is what it is. Probably won't be too long until I'm told that I can't store stuff in there anymore. But gotta have room out here to work. So, all right. Okay, so we're gonna run those 3 pieces through the planer, and all we're looking for is to get them all 3 to about the same thickness. Alan, what's going on, buddy? So we're looking to get them to the same thickness and relatively flat. So the planer has 2 rollers in it, one on each side of the cutter head, and those 2 rollers will shove down any bend in the wood. They have a ton of force behind them. So if there's a curve like this, it's going to take that curve and flatten it, plane it all the same thickness, and then once it comes out of that set of rollers, it's going to curl back up again. But if you take light passes, like just skim passes, like I was doing last week on the cherry board cuts, if you just take skim passes, you're not forcing that bend out of the wood. You're just hitting the very highest spots and working your way down until you get a relatively flat surface. Now on these there doesn't seem to be any real warp or any real bend, and they're small, so probably just going to send them, take some aggressive cuts, and be done with it. Alan, I definitely appreciate you popping in, bud. I know I seen right before I went live, I seen Justin was live, and kind of felt bad that I won't get to watch him, so I popped in, threw him a like, and hopped back over here. All right. All right, so we're going to take some pretty aggressive cuts. If we get any snipe, we'll deal with it then. Double check chat, and then I'm going to make some noise. Okay. All right, I'm going to make some loud noise here, guys. Alright, that'll be enough of that. Love that sound. Sorry. I'll have to rewatch to see what it sounds like on live, but I wish there was a way that I could tone the volume down a little bit. All right. So this is going to be our assembly table today. But we got to square everything up, square off the sides. We're going to route the top. We're going to route the sides of both legs, and then we can we'll sand, and then we'll do assembly. But this is what we're looking like. We got this weird like bit of grain right here, which is kind of nifty. It leaves this line through there. And then we got a shallow spot here. Yeah, right here. It's just barely down, but I didn't want to run it through the planer anymore. That'll come out and sanded. And I think this will end up being the top. Maybe that side. I don't know. That line in there looks kind of cool. And then this is both legs. How did I... There's one of those longer than the other. Oh, because I went 11.5. That's what I originally wanted to do. Alright, well. One's 11.5, one's 12.5. We'll make a cockeyed step stool. I reckon I'll have to cut an inch off of this one when I'm doing the final trim up. This is what happens when I don't write things down. Alright, so 11 inches tall, that's what we're going to go with our final height. And I think that width will be nice. We'll just make sure the ends are straight. It'll be a nice step stool. You can put both feet on it. It's sturdy. We're at exactly 4/4, 1 inch. The sides are just a hair over 4/4. They're like a 1/16 of an inch thicker on the sides, so structurally that should be fine. We will do. Sorry, I got sawdust in my eye. We will cut a stretcher, and I think I might use a contrasting wood for the stretcher. We'll dig back there, and that pile up there, and then behind that there's more smaller boards, different kinds. Yeah, yeah. I usually have these in, but as soon as I put these in, they're going to connect to the phone. Because I haven't disabled that yet. I haven't turned Bluetooth off on my phone. In which case, everything will get 10 times louder, and I don't want to blow your guys' eardrums out. Well, I won't be able to hear much. You guys will. I'll remember that though for next week. I'll put the earbuds in, and I'll turn off Bluetooth on my phone. Or I'll just not connect to those. I'll delete them out. Apologize for that, Maya. let's get squaring up here. This thing is going to be right in the way. Put that down there. And I think we'll see what our final dimensions are, but we may make the legs they might sit in a 1/2 inch or so. Or if we dado it, maybe I'll just make them the same width and then just run a dado in and put them in. You'll see the dado on the end, but on the sides, but I think it's better than seeing screws. I mean, I'm still going to put screws in. I'll plug them with a piece of oak dowel. I'll plug all my screw holes with oak. That way it'll be contrast, or poplar. I could use poplar. I have some white poplar over here. It'll be a nice contrasting color to the red. Yeah, we'll figure it out. It'll be fun. I gotta say though, this is really nice being able to just build something simple. Something that, I don't know, 3 pieces of wood. Well, 4, because we're gonna add a stringer, but it's really quite nice. Alright, so what we're gonna do first is we're gonna get them cut to the final width. And then we're going to square up the ends with the sled. Okay, so all I want to do here is yeah, that's fair, Maya. That's fair. All I want to do here is, so we have this rough sawn edge, right? And I want that to go away because that's a lot of splinters, and while some people may like the look of it, the rustic kind of look, I'm more worried about people are going to be picking this up. Somebody's going to pick this up and move it around and then slide their hand and get their hands full of splinters. So I'm going to take this all off. So it's like this, nice squared up, and we're gonna round it over to get a kind of a rounded edge on it. All right, so I'm just gonna trim, and I can do it this way because they are pretty well the same. It's not like tapered or anything, nothing crazy anyway. So I'm just going to take small bites down the side till I got a nice clean edge. So one of the things about cherry wood is it burns really easy. So you can see right here where one of my rollers slipped on the planer, because they're due to be cleaned again. So that friction caused a little burn. Now that's superficial and it'll sand out, but I have to keep that in mind, because if you go too slow, you will burn, and you'll burn the edges when you cut with the saw blade. But like I said, it's superficial. That'll sand out easily. And if I don't sand that out, I want to wax this with a hard wax. If I don't sand that out, then you'll see it. It'll stick out like a sore thumb. Actually, what I think we're going to do is we're going to shellac it first, or maybe tung oil first, and then wax it after. We'll see how that goes. It's got to get glued up and whatnot first. I have to cut some kind of a notch or something in the bottom here. You know, that typical high school shop class step stool look with that little triangle cut out. Because this sitting on a floor will, you know, if there's a high spot here, it'll do this. But if you just have two spots touching the floor on each leg, and you got a high spot here, it won't wobble, because this will be, you know, up here. And then probably right around here, right at the top of the V, we'll right up about here, we'll put a stretcher across. But like I said, it's got to make it through glue up first, and by glue up I mean it's got to get glued and screwed first before we do any finish work to it. But so what we're going to do now is we're going to get the V cut. We're going to do that. And then I think we're going to do the dado on the top, or the rabbit on the top. And then we'll do all of our sanding, which shouldn't take long. The planer leaves a nice finish. I've just got a couple little rough spots where the grain kind of changed directions. But we'll throw some 80 grit on it, work through it real quick. It shouldn't take long at all. And then we'll be able to route over what needs to be routed, except for where the dado goes, because I want to route this and the top together as one piece, so that the round over portion follows the joint instead of trying to go across the joint. I think it looks better if the round over follows the joint. Some people think it looks bad that way. They like their, you know, this to round over to dead end into the top, and then the top to round over and be right against it, you know. Whatever, to each their own. But I'm making it because I want it, so we'll do it how I want to do it. Hey Logan, what's going on, buddy? Appreciate you popping in. We're just doing a cherry wood step stool because I had cherry wood laying around. And I wanted something easy to do today. Alright, so, almost forgot. We can't do the V's yet. We gotta cut everything down to final length. Square up the ends. Otherwise it'll sit all crooked anyway. We don't want a crooked step stool. Alright. This is the one that's 12 and a half. So we'll cut one side flush. So we want the top to be 20 inches, which will put us right there. We want to just take that line. And our two sides to be the same. So we will cut those together at the same time. That'll give us a nice straight cut. We'll flip it over, make sure the other side is nice and smooth. We'll just skim it, and then we'll be good. Perfect. Alright. That side's square. Normally I would do this on the chop saw, but I want to make sure that I have square cuts. So this blade is square to this backstop here. So I know that no matter what, these will be square to each other. From the long side to the cut side. Alright, you put a block behind here. There's our two sides, nice and parallel to each other. Now, when we do the stretcher, we'll cut that to fit. Big clear container beside you. Oh, this? That's the red diesel for the heater right there. Hi, Janelle. Happy Saturday. Thank you for stopping in. Thank you for coming, Maya. Appreciate it. Enjoy your walk with your pup. And have a good night. Okay, so that is it for that for now until we cut the stretcher. I could cut the dados with the saw. But we're going to cut the ones in the top first. So we may actually use this to cut the top of the legs so they fit. We'll see. We'll see. Then again, I could just punch it. Nah, I still want the dado. More glue surface, more better. Especially for end grain wood. End grain wood glue this way has way less strength than wood glue this way. Right? Or this way. Because here, it's just a bundle of straws, right? So the glue will soak down in, and you'll get less of it sitting here bonding. Which is why you have to mechanically fasten it. We're going to do mechanical fastening, and we're going to cut a little shoulder off so that it fits inside of here, and that'll give more surface area. All right, Logan, enjoy your shower, buddy. So, what we're going to do we are going to break out the router. We're going to set up a groove. It's exactly 20, so 10. We come in 3 or 4 inches from each side. Be 4 and 16. I don't think 4 inches is bad. Plus, that's probably where most of your weight would be. Be about 4 inches in from each side. Now, this is 1 inch thick. The legs are 1 inch thick. They're 9.5 inches wide. I don't think that anybody short of an elephant is going to break it, but yeah. Yeah, no problem, Janelle. It has come to my attention that I need to explain things a little bit, or I should explain things a little bit, so I'm trying to see how this works out. I tend to over-explain, so if I'm getting a little talkative, I guess, you guys just let me know that you got it 20 minutes ago, and I'll move on. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to break out the big handheld router that I actually haven't used yet. Sorry, I'm blowing the sawdust off the screen. I've played with it, but I haven't used it. So we're gonna run this one. I gotta find out which box has the collets in it. It's not this one. We're not gonna run the dust collection on it because, well, why start now? We will run the vacuum on the sander. Remember you said that, Logan. Remember you said that. Okay, don't need that. It's the centering, so this must be the color. Yep. We need the 1/4 inch. I want to say would be this one. Nope, that's 1/2 inch. Now the reason I'm using this one is because I have a bracket to put in it that will be a straight edge, so I don't have to. I don't have to get creative with a clamp and a block, a straight edge. It'll literally be built in, and so this side will be the exact same as that side. So this, in case nobody knows, this is basically a plunge router. This one just happens to be battery operated, right? So I got a lock here. I can plunge it, right? So I set my depth. Set my depth back here with this little stop, and I got these different screws down here, etc. So what that does is when I set it to a 1/2 inch, right? So I'll put it down so I'm against the wood, and then I'll zero out my depth stop, and then I'll go, all right, well I want to go a 1/2 inch past that. So I won't zero out the depth stop, sorry. I'll lock it. There we go. So you lock it, right? So that's flush. And then you come here and you go, all right, I need this to be a 1/2 inch bigger. So you can do that. You can thread this thing up, right? All different kinds of ways. You can add a 1/2 inch thick piece here. So when you push it down, like that will be your stop, right? So a whole bunch of things that you do with it. Like there, my stop is set at that depth. It won't go any deeper, right? So oh, guess it would help if I unlocked it. So that's it. And then if I want to add a 1/2 inch, I just move this up the rod. I can't see that. I move this up the rod to a 1/2 inch, assuming that this gauge is accurate. Now I go a 1/2 inch deeper, right? No, wait. I'm silly. Hang on. Now I go a 1/2 inch deeper because I got the stop here. All right. Now I'll go a 1/2 inch shallower. I'm sorry. If I want to go deeper, I got to go the other way. Move it up a 1/2 inch. Anyway, I'll explain it to you while I'm running it. I'm sorry. It's much easier to operate a plunge router and explain it while you're doing it. Well, thanks, Janelle. I appreciate that. It's a different base. Forgot that was in the lid. Need a battery. I think for this we just need the one battery. I got the wrench for that. We'll get that set up. So all we're going to do is we're going to cut the two dados. And based on how wide we cut those is what we'll do to the ends of this to narrow it down if we have to put this in there. And then we'll do a sand drill quick, and then we can start assembly. and we'll route it with a different router. We won't use this big thing. We'll use a small handheld trim router. But we're going to put this on. Which I believe goes here. Yes. And we've already got screw stops in here. Right? So that will stop it from moving, etc. Like this thing is fully adjustable. I can move it in, out, I can angle it and set it to 0, move in, out a little bit. It's there's a lot of adjustability here. This one happens to have a dust collector port on the bottom of it that apparently doesn't come off. So that's cool. But that's it. So they're set up. We'll get off this piece of wood for now. Let me grab my bit. What we're going to do is we're going to do 2 passes with it, right? We need to get rid of some material, and then we're going to do a 3/4 inch wide mortise, which means we'll take a 1/4 inch off of this, which would be about 1/8 inch each side, which gives us a nice shoulder. Alright. Let's get that to sit flat. We'll put this in here. Now, these bits aren't the best bits in the world. These ones are just from, I don't know, Lowe's, Home Depot, something like that. They're a store-bought kit, right? But they do the job. They get everything taken care of, so. Now, we're going to set 0 on our piece of wood here. We're going to set 0 right there. That should lower me down. Okay, so there's 0. Move our gauge down. You guys can't see a damn thing that I'm doing. Sorry. So it's much easier to explain when I'm just showing you. And this is, I mean, most plunge routers are pretty well the same, right? Okay, so we'll reset this. Okay, so you can see that my bit is not on the floor, right? It's not on the wood. So I unlock my measuring, right? We're at 0. I'm sitting against this stop down here, right? Which I can turn. And that should give me about a 1/2 inch right there. It looks like it's at 1/4 inch increments. I haven't adjusted these, so I'm not sure. We're not 100% on that. So we push it down. The bit is sitting on the tabletop, right? Or on this wood top. I won't normally do this on the finished piece, but all right. So we're gonna lock that. We can set that to 0. Right now, that means that that bit will just barely scratch the top if I were to run it. Okay? It'll just barely scratch it. But we want an extra half an inch. Okay? So 1/4 inch, half inch. Now you can see there's a gap here because my stop isn't touching it. Now there's fine-tune adjustments. I can screw this up, I can screw this down, blah blah. But we're going to lower this and lock it with the handle back here. There we go. Because I want to see if that is indeed sticking out of there about a half an inch. Because that's how much we have to cut off of our shoulder. And if it's accurate, that'd be wonderful. Okay, so we're gonna lift that up. I got a mark here, right? This is the very top of the blade. That's where the blade sits. So we're gonna take a measuring tape and we're gonna see that, no, that is at just shy of 3/8. So we have to adjust this a little bit. We want to go here, we'll just do this. We're not going to worry about adjusting it. We're going to move this up to a half inch. Okay. We're going to loosen. No, we're going to leave that tight. No. Hang on. Now, this will have to go up a half an inch. All right, so we're going to send this here. We're going to leave that at 0. Here, we'll take this whole thing up 1/2. There we go. Now we'll verify that as a half an inch. Lock it. We'll unlock it. All right, now we are at half an inch. Perfect. So this gauge is accurate. So there's that. Sorry, I don't know why I was having such a brain fart there. For the life of me, I couldn't just figure out to raise the thing. All right. So this is set up to do 1/2 inch deep mortise. All right. As long as we keep it on this tall peg. Now, ideally, we would go down, increments here, but this is such a small amount that I think we'll be all right. We'll see. If we have any issues, we'll change it up so that we take smaller bites. We'll see how it works out. But this needs to get clamped to the table. The table needs to be shimmed up level, flat. I don't want it wobbling on me. There we go. This is going to be the bottom, so I think we'll be all right. Now, we want to come in, what did I say, 4 inches. So we want to come in 4 inches. We'll make a mark here. We're only going to have to set this up one time, and we'll set it up to this mark We'll put that in the center of our, close enough to the center of our bit here. And what that will do is when we take it over to this side, it'll be exactly the same as this one. So it won't matter if it's, 2 7/8 or 3 7/8. I need a flathead screwdriver so I can open this a little bit. I need a bigger flathead screwdriver. There we go. Alright, open that. Tighten that back up. Hey Weston, what's going on, buddy? Thanks for popping in. You're keeping it classy. I don't know how I missed that one, Janelle. So all I did was open up this fence a little bit, so that way my bit doesn't have any chance to contact that. All right, let me make sure that I haven't blabbed a bunch and missed all the chat. Over explanations. Perfect. All right. This thing needs to go away. Can I pop this off? Aha, I can. There we go. That's better. Alright, so there's on the front here, see right here, there's a line that should be center of your bit. Okay, so if I take that and I line it up with my line that I made on my board, fairly close anyway. I am not in it. I need the other legs. There we go. I'll use these longer ones instead of these smaller ones. I think these smaller ones are for the handheld router, the trim router. And they were in the wrong slot. They should have been in the small slot, not the big slot. Okay, there's one set. Alright. We don't need the dust collector because we're just going to shoot dust everywhere. Alright. Now we're in business. Now, there is a mark on both sides of your base, so you can look to see if you're going to be square. I didn't bother to measure, but I can tell you that I am square. So you do have some adjustability to rotate it before you tighten it. You don't have a whole lot. It's more of a fine tune. But you have a bunch of adjustability on this end. You can set the depth, you can set the angle, and do all kinds of things back here. So we just want to make sure everything is tight because we don't want it to walk on us. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm not going to plunge it all the way down the first time. Right? I'm going to come down so that I have a little bit of a gap. And I'm going to send it through once. And then I will lower it a little more, do multiple passes. I'm sorry, I need to close this. If I leave this fence open like this, I'm nowhere near hitting it, obviously. If I leave this fence open like this, I will catch on the edge of the board. So I want to make sure we're pretty flush there. Good. We won't catch anything. Pardon me while I just get in front of you. And we'll walk right off the side. That'll be perfect. Okay. I'll lower this down a little bit. We'll see how she runs. Hogan, welcome back. Remember, this is my first time using this particular one, so we're going to see if we can't break it the very first day. I mean, I have plunge routers, but they're plug-in routers, and well, this one's cooler because it's got a battery. Alright, let's make a pass. That's not a half bad pass, if I do say so myself. Nice straight line. About half as deep as what we want. I do need a second clamp here because it was starting to twist. That's not going anywhere. Alright. Now we can take our next pass. Full depth. We'll only be taking about as much as we took off prior. All right. Alright, as I get closer to the end, I wanted to slow down so I don't blow out the grain. Alright, that will be plenty deep enough. It's actually probably too deep for the size wood, but we'll live with it. Always make sure you retract your bit. I mean, obviously we're going to run the other bit through it to make it wider because we want 3/4 of an inch. But since we already had it chalked up, say there we're about halfway through, that's fine. You're not going to be standing on this very edge with enough force to snap that. Plus it's going to be filled with glue and screws and stuff. So clamp this down again. Give this another go. Alright, so I want to go down about halfway. We're going to make this one a little lighter on the pads. So, alright. Okay. Oh. Nice. All right. Now, going to take this off, put the other bit in. Do one final pass up through. yes, you should take the battery out when you play with this stuff, but assuming all of the safety devices continue to function, you have to flip this trigger in order to push the trigger. So like, can't push it without flipping this little lever up. So does phenomenal. Because it's got this, it comes right through here and it sucks out through this hole here. It comes right up the post here. You just take the cap off, put the connector adapter on. All right. Now, what we've done is we put in the 3/4 inch. So, because nothing else has changed, it's going to take a little bit off of this side and a little bit off of this side, both sides of the dado. So the center of the dado will remain where it is, or where it was originally. And we're still going to take a couple of passes. Now, for the record, you don't have to do this to build a stool. You could, or a step stool. You could very easily just drill holes and use dowels, punch screws through it, whatever. I'm doing this just because I like the way it looks and I like the way it functions better. And I got this tool, so why not use it? Haven't had a chance to use it yet. All right. Now, do you need to go halfway through? Definitely not. It does make it prettier. I agree. Now, if you were building it, you know, with kids or whatever, then you could definitely just punch screws through it. Wouldn't be a problem. Kid would be happy. They got to build something. Parents would be happy, in theory. You know. And I say by kids, I mean, you know, ones who the parents don't feel can operate stuff like this, or ones that they don't have this, you know, stuff like that. Something like this would be a fun project to do with kids, though, for sure. As I'm sure everyone who's had a woodshop class can attest to. You had woodshop in high school. Chances are you made a step stool. In fact, it may still be at your parents' house. your grandma's house, or whatever. Hell, maybe it's in your kitchen. Well, I bet the shop vac on this would be phenomenal. But we'll do that later. There we go. 2 nice dados done. Do you need to spend that much time to do it? Probably not. Did I enjoy using my fancy tool here that I bought a long time ago and never used? Absolutely I did. It's actually significantly more powerful than I expected it to be with just a little 4 amp hour battery on it. I'm rather impressed. Now, granted, all I did was cut two dados, but I like it. Not a tool review, just a personal opinion, impression. Alright, put this battery back on here so I can stand it on the battery, take the bit out. That's a false stop, there we go. Gonna have to remember to not loosen it towards that pipe there. I'm gonna have to loosen it on this side. Maybe something like that. Push it forward to loosen it so I don't hit this pipe and end up dinging it up. I don't know how thick it is, but I mean it seems pretty thick. I doubt I'll damage it, but I gotta be honest though, so the only reason I bought this one, and like I said, I bought it a long time ago, right about when they first came out. The reason I bought it was, in theory, it seemed more easy to use than dragging the cord around and all that stuff from the other one. And it's 2 horsepower, 2.5 horsepower. So it's as powerful as the bigger one. The corded one. It is by no means a necessary tool, so a router is definitely a very useful tool, but alright. So, there's our little dados. Yeah, they do look kind of deep now after the fact, but remember, this board is 1 inch thick, so that's a 1/2 inch piece of meat there, and it's going to be another board glued in right there. So I think it'll be fine. And I mean, unless you're really trying, I doubt you're going to stand on both these ends and break this, because it's cherry and it's hard. So. I'll put the router away after we get done with the live. That router, because we're not using that one to do the trim routing around overs. So we did have a little bit of a blowout. Not much. Just a little bit right there. Made some nice slots. They'd have a tiny mark right there. You can see this right at the very edge where the first pass must have caught the little router fence thing on there and kicked over a little bit. So, but that's very negligible. Actually, it looks like one went this way and one went this way. So we'll square that up a little bit with a razor knife. Bit right here. There. Clean that up. Got that nice and squared away. We'll definitely have to sand before we glue. Always sand before you glue. Or at least most of your sanding. You can do a final sanding if you need to. But it's much easier to sand now than it will be to sand then. Right? Because then you got corners. And you can't go this way because you go across the grain and you'll see all that marking. Right? So. Alright. So our boards need to have a 1/2 inch deep by 3/4 inch. Let's make sure that was accurate. Three-quarter inch. Three-quarter inch. Make sure it was a 1/2 inch deep. We don't want any gaps. You will see them. That is exactly a 1/2 inch deep. Look at that. Right on the money. So we'll get these cut, we'll do a test fit, and then we'll sand. Mrs. Turner, how you doing? Thank you for popping in. Oh my. A wooden step lathe. Huh. All pedal powered. Turner almost out. That's it. Okay, so 1/2 inch wide by 3/4 inch. I'm sorry, 1/2 inch deep by 3/4 inch wide. So we'll go over here. We'll get the table saw set up again because that is something we can do on the table saw. Now you can very easily make a jig to do that on with a router, right? But I already have a table saw, and I'm only doing two. So there's really no point to making a jig right now. So I'm going to move you guys over here. You can get a good shot if I cut my finger off. Mrs. T, I'm not doing bad at all. I'm not doing bad at all. Thank you for asking. Alright, so let's see which side we want to be the top. Rather like the grain running down. Oh, that's better. Alright, so this will be the top. Alright, and our wood is 1 1/8 inches. So we need to take off 1/4 1/8. So we're going to take off 1/4 and like 1/2 of an eighth. This, because I want to sneak up on that. I want to sneak up on that fitment. So we'll take 1/8 of an inch off each side. Maybe a hair higher. Get my flat tooth up. There's a flat tooth. There's 1/8 of an inch. Very little. Very little. So we're going to on that. We need a 1/2 inch. Oh, I don't have a 1/2 inch mark in here. Again, we want to sneak up on that 1/2 inch, so we won't go right to the full width. We'll sneak up on it. Man, I can't wait till after Christmas. I get this stuff cleaned up a bit. So we're gonna go right there. Oh, we should probably plug this in. I won't make a stop for this. Just because it's so small and I can see the mark, I can judge where I'm at. Hi Matthew, how you doing, buddy? Yes, Turner, is still the stool. We're doing the legs right now. Gonna see if we got a good fit. We need to shrink. We need to tighten it up a little bit. And then, so, I'll explain to you what just happened here. So I made a 1/2 inch mark here, right? Well, that 1/2 inch is from this side of the blade. That blade is 1/8 of an inch thick. So that means that I am a 1/2 inch plus 1/8. So keep that in mind. You want your 1/2 inch mark to be from the other side of the blade. All right. So now what we get to do is we get to cut 1/8 of an inch off of this after we get everything done. We'll cut 1/8 of an inch off of both sides. So we need to raise this just a nudge. We got a flat tooth up. Put that at its highest point. And we'll go there. Just sneaking up on it. Hey Purnell, how you doing? Thanks for popping in, buddy. I'm doing good. I'm doing good. We're just making a stool here. Nice, easy build. Calm build. But it was easy until I measured wrong. You know, measure never, cut 14 times. So, but it's an easy fix. It's easy. We're not overly worried about it. All right. So I raise the blade up just a nudge. We're going to take a pass off of both sides. We'll take a pass off of one side first to make sure I didn't raise it up too much. Test the fit. I want it to be tight, but I don't want it to be so tight that it blows the wood apart that we're hammering into, okay? I want a nice friction fit. You've got to have room for glue stick. Yeah, it's going to be 2 legs and then the top. And then we'll see how sturdy it is. I'll probably put a stringer across between from leg to leg. But we still have to cut a notch out on each leg so that we end up with 4 little feet. We'll see how sturdy it is. That 1/2 inch dado is going to add a lot of strength and stop it from, racking a good bit. But we'll see. We'll see. All right, we're going to get this cut, and then we're going to test fit it and see what's up. Now, in the future, so you can do this. This is all we're doing. We're just making that, right? So you can do this on, wait, the camera, that looks like it's way it looks like this side's up like half as much, but it's not. I promise it's flat. That's awesome. You could do this on the router table. But I find it's a lot harder to control. Oh, I got a little wedge of. I'm sorry, guys. I'm over here doing stuff. You're just looking at my floor. So I got a little wedge of stuff stuck in here. So we're gonna trim that flat, and I think we have the perfect fit. It'd be really nice to have a chisel, but You know, I got the organization skills of a chipmunk, so. Okay. I just want to clean this up. I was just cleaning some fuzzy stuff off that side. So we want to put this in here. See what kind of fit we get. See where it pinches. Alright, pinches down on this end. So we'll clean this up just a little bit more. And then we'll get her cut the size, cut the length since I messed up that measurement like a goofball. So my measurements that I have written on the side of my fence there are 4 sizes of cuts that I want. Not for cut off pieces. So I got to remember to subtract 1/8 of an inch from that. That is a nice friction fit. Now, as you can see, I got to trim that down a little bit, and you know, drive it in. This is just by hand, you know. All right, so the blade is set. We will we'll go ahead and cut the next one. And then we will lower it just a nudge to flip it, cut the other side, since that gives us a very good fit. Okay, so here we are back over here. Ha! I flipped that one around. I wrote top on it, it's still on the bottom. Dumb move. Oh. I guess we want this one to be a touch longer, so that'll work. Steph, hi. Thanks for popping in. Don't wipe this way when you got a knife, a saw blade sticking out. Saw blade teeth are sharp. That's like the 14th time I've done that this week. We're making a step stool. Yeah, Pernell. I find it easier to control if I'm cutting this way. Plus, I'm not taking big gouges of wood. I was keeping my thumb pressed against the board like this. So I was just shaving the wood. Hi, Mr. Dave. How you doing? Yes, Steph, a step stool. I don't know who it could possibly be going to, assuming it doesn't fall apart. Because, you know, it very well could possibly fall apart. We don't know. Or it could get stuck in the corner like all the other projects that don't get finished. I just wanted to take a cut off that so I could see if that is going to give us a tight fit on this one. And it indeed will. Alright. So we can go ahead and the Lucas stool. Alright, let's test fit that, make sure it's nice and tight. And it definitely is. Trim it. Oh gosh. Do a little quick pass on the cleaning up this fuzzy bit. Sorry guys, give me just 1 second. That one's damn near perfect. I guess I tried to, oh gosh. Alright. This one needs to be cut down to match this one. So, we're going to take a trim off of that. And then we're going to match it on the back side of this other piece here. See if that's good enough. Oh, it's got to come down just a wee bit more. Alright guys, I'm just doing my test fitting over here. Making sure that I don't go too far. And I believe that is perfect. Now, what we're going to do is we'll flatten those two tops there, put that against here, flush this up. Daggone. That's no longer T for top, that's T for bottom. Just so you know. Alright. Okay. I mean, Purnell, I'm going to have to agree that coffee is great. Although this is Saturday and it's 5:30, and I still got this here beer, so coffee can come later. All right, we're going to do a quick test fit. Make sure this is good. A little disappointed that I did this one on the wrong side, but it'll be all right. So we'll put, this one was on this side. Let me do a little tappy tap. Well, that's going to be a bitch to take apart. I should have thought that one through. Oh well, it'll come apart. It's not terrible. I've done much, much better. Let this side drop in. It's not awful. It's not my best work, but it's not awful. We're doing it with a table saw. It's not bad. Matthew, that knife is awesome, buddy. So you can see when I get close here, we got some decent gap there. And here, well, this one will set in more. I don't know why this side keeps popping out, but that one will set in more. Now this gap will get filled with glue, and I'll glue sand it and fill that in. So not my best work, but What am I doing? I'm touching all the buttons. Yeah, if I would have thought about it, I would have brought it out here with me to show everybody. But it's in the house. Yeah, I greatly appreciate that. So there's the beginning, most of the step stool right there. Now, will it rack? Probably. Are we going to put a stretcher in it? Probably. Oh. Oh. We're going to say L. Oh. R. Alright. Now comes the super boring part, but thankfully I don't have too much to do. I got the sand. Alright. I've got a sand, and then I've got a glue. No. No. We're going to apply now. Fuck, screw it. I got a glue. Right? Get everything clamped in so that I can screw in from the front side here and put in a couple of screws in there just to make sure it holds. Then I'll plug those later. You won't see the screws. You'll see the dowel, the plugs, and then no. Sorry, we got to cut our V. I'm sorry. I don't know where my head's at. We got to get the V cut, then we'll sand, and then we'll do everything else. All right, so let's get the V cut. How do we want to do it? Do we want a V? Do we want a round? Let me clamp this together. So clamp these together, and I'll cut them as one with the jigsaw. We're done with the table saw for now. I'll get this out of the way. After it's together, we will cut the stretcher. And I will cut the stretcher just a smidgen oversized so that it takes those legs and pushes them out just a little bit. Just a little bit of pressure. You want there to be pressure versus no pressure. No pressure then would mean that the stretcher isn't going to do anything anyway. A little bit of pressure will keep these held tight. Some kind of creature in here with me. What kind of creature would that be? Did you see one? I mean, it wouldn't surprise me, but like I don't have any food out here or anything. Over, Jesus, man, that stuff right in there. There's probably a mouse in there somewhere. I'd imagine it got cold, so they built a nest in the insulation in there. I mean, the bottom of this door here has a bit of a gap, so it wouldn't surprise me. Oh well. He ain't bugging me. As long as he doesn't chew on anything. Start chewing on my stuff, we're gonna have a problem. Yeah, I figured, but to be fair, I did figure that as soon as I insulated in here, it would create a nesting for mice, or a nesting area for mice. I did have, at one point, I had something up above the roof here. Must have been a squirrel or something. I don't know how it got up there, but it's gone now. I want to be looking over there all the time now. You're playing the stream. Well, if you see something over there, we can come up with a name for it. We will name it. That'll be the shop creature. Whatever. I'm assuming it's a mouse. If it's a snake, I'm gonna kill it. Just so y'all know. I will murder I will murder it right now. I don't do snakes. Alright. So I got this squared up. So the two pieces should be the same. It better not be. Okay, so do we want to do like a half circle? Or do we want to just do a traditional V? I'm not going to do anything fancy with the V and then the tapered swirl on the top. I'm not going to do anything fancy like that. I would imagine it would have to be at some point when the camera was sitting here. See, I'm invested in this now. If there's a creature over there, I feel like we should name it. I really do. I'll put out a little bowl of water. A little bag of seeds or something. It'll be a pet until it chews on something, and then it'll be gone. So what do you guys think? Half circle or the traditional V? Will be the stream. We'll do this. Right over there, Mrs. T. Ah. That's going to be the stream right there. All right. Let me zoom out. Stop being goofy. Okay. All right. I think we're just gonna do a V. We're gonna do a V cut. Call her a day. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna do 45-degree angles here. which is something we can do with a combination square. Now, 45 is a lot. That's very steep. But it does give us room for a stretcher. So we'll do 45. We will come in 2 inches. Now, guys, for future, if you do this, right, you do build a stool, anything that sits on the ground. So how this grain runs down, right? Any grain that runs down, if you're dragging it around, you're going to peel it off. In fact, I could show you on the bottom of this table here where I'm peeling off chunks of wood. So you want to make sure that you round that over. That makes it a little less likely to peel off, or put little feet under it. I'm not going to put feet under this unless I happen to have a set of rubber feet in the house, like nailing them in. Tiny Tim? Alright. If we find a mouse in here, his name will be Tiny Tim. Or Chipmunk. That'll be fine. We'll name him Tiny Tim. But I have some felt feet in the house that I know about. But felt is slippery and we don't want slippy. So if I have some rubber feet, I'll put them on here. If not, maybe I'll find some. I'll just go pick some up and put them on here. But we don't want it to be slippery. That would be unfortunate and nobody would be happy. Well, I would laugh. But the person who fell probably wouldn't. So we're going to put this at 2 inches. We're going to put a mark. And then all we're going to do is we're going to take our 45-degree side here. We're not going to move it. We're just going to leave it wherever it sits. And sharpen our pencil. Oh, nuts. Ugh. Well, if there is a little guy in there, we can turn it into a thing. A little cameos for Tiny Tim. So we're gonna put our mark right here in the very corner of this, right? We don't right in that very corner down there. I don't know if you guys can see. Right? So we just want it to sit in there. And then we're going to come up to, about there. It doesn't really matter how far up we draw the line. We're just going to join the two. And the rest will be sanded, so it'll go away. Alright, so there will be our cutout for our little feet. Now, I'm going to do the same thing on the other side, just because a jigsaw blade it'll go through and kind of lean one way or another. So I'm going to mark it on both sides, so that way I can flip it over and trim that. Sorry guys, I'm trying to do this and not be in your way at the same time. Still give you guys something to look at. Okay. So there will be our other side. There's that side. Hopefully they match. I would hope they match because I didn't move anything. So we're gonna find out. I'm gonna give these an extra little twist. Set this over here. All kinds of crap on the floor now. Alright, grab the saw, grab the blade. So, I don't know if anybody is familiar with jigsaws, right? So most of them have this little adjuster here that shows like a blade with like a line on it. So what this does is, you can see that as I do it, it pulls the blade back, and it allows the blade to move like this when it cuts. It kind of rolls, and it's a more aggressive cut. If you turn it all the way back, it doesn't move the near as far. It pushes this wheel right here. It pushes it into the blade so it doesn't roll. And it can't come back and roll. You get a cleaner cut that way. This is definitely not the proper blade to be using for this, but it's one I had on my bench. So, yeah, you get a little bit of a cleaner cut that way. But just something that I thought might be useful and stuff. Everybody's going to be rewinding the stream now to... I don't know that it's every jigsaw, but this one, which is, you know, newer, and the one that I have in the house that's old, it's like an old, I don't know, I want to say it's a skill saw. It's got a cord. It's been cut 14 times, you know. It also has it, but it says something on it. I think it says blade swing or swing. But yeah, if you... Let's see if I can get you to see this. No, I gotta be cutting. Ow! Hang on. Alright, let's see if we can make this. Alright. I don't know if you guys could even see that. So, there's the difference on the upside for the tear out. And so the up is the cut side, right? Because these teeth pull up. On the bottom side, you don't have any real difference, okay? So that clump of sawdust that was on there. So there's no real difference on the bottom side. Well, on the upside, you get significantly more tear out. But, yeah, it just it allows the blade to swing. In fact, let me lock that so I don't turn it on. You can see right there, tight, angled. Now, it'll also, if it doesn't swing, like if you're pushing too hard that it won't swing, you can get it to sit, instead of letting it swing forward, you can get it to kind of sit back a little bit, but you got to be pushing pretty hard. Anyway, just a handy little thing. I always use it. I don't ever use that swing feature. Oh, she wants to know my location. Yeah. Oh, she can bite me. Alright, so we're going to just freehand this and see what happens. It's not going to be great. It's not going to be perfect. It is a jigsaw. So. And I'm cutting goofy here. I'm going to try to balance it on these. You know, maybe I'll get a third one, because 3 is better than 2. At least then I can balance it better. That's much better. You can balance it on 3 legs. Boy, that's a lot to cut. Not even going all the way through. Good gravy. Do I have a longer blade? Let's try this. Well, it's not exactly straight, but better than nothing. Gravy. Alright, let's try to follow this line. We'll worry about cleaning it up later. Alright, now, were I to do this as a production item, I would use a router with a flush trim bit and a pattern. We're not doing this as a production item, so. Oh, I got a little tear out on this side. That's alright, it'll be rounded over. That tear out will go away. Alright. I could sand that out. That wouldn't be bad. Sure looks like a third grader made it though. Time to troll. Turner made that. Oh man, blew out a whole bunch on that side. Goodness gracious. Well, I'm going to have a hell of a round over here. That's alright. I do a 45 in there. Alright, I got it a little better. Got it a little flatter. Ignore that tear out. We'll get rid of it. So that was because the blade just hit the edge of it and pushed it up because I wasn't paying attention. And I had it angled that way so that I could cut this bit here flatter. Because I had a bit of a bow and an angle to it. But it's not terrible. We'll put a 45 in here with the router. Get rid of all that. We'll sand it up real nice. And we'll do a round over. Just a little bit of a round over on the rest of these sides. But the round over, we'll wait until we have it assembled. Because I like the round over to come up and across. To look, I don't know. I think it looks better that way. Alright, let's get you guys back up here to a decent height so you can look back in your corner over there, see what's over there. Alright. So, these can come off now because we no longer need it. Don't think it's 300 pounds worthy. I bet you could. I bet it could hold you. Welcome back, Steph. Really? 5 more subs till 100? Nice. I haven't been paying attention. I've been slacking so much lately. I'm pretty sure I lost a few subs because I haven't been putting out videos, but it is what it is. I'll get them caught back up then. Alright, so now we're going to do the annoying part, which is a little bit of sanding. Thankfully, we don't have a whole lot to do. Thankfully, my planer cuts things at about a 120 level. But I am going to turn on the vacuum because the paper that I'm using is it works much better when you have the vacuum hooked up. So we'll do that. But before I do that, just put down a grippy thing. Shelf liner works really well for sanding. Stops stuff from walking around, and the other side, you're not vibrating it against something, it's vibrating kind of against this. So, really? 100 subs? Nice! Nice. Yeah. Yeah, once the Christmas orders are caught up and done, then I'll be back to regularly scheduled programming. Nice. Thanks, guys. You guys are awesome. I do I do really, really want to do. So I'm going to use this paper today. It's 3M. It's backwards for you guys. Sorry. Pro grade precision. It is ceramic, but it's not quite as good as Cubitron. But I don't want to break into my Cubitron until I use up some of this other stuff. It's very, very close to the Cubitron. Like I don't mind it, and I can buy it at Lowe's. So I bought a little pack just to see, because my Cubitron paper, my 3M or my Cubitron paper, I have to order that. And if I mess up and I run out, then I don't have paper, and I have to go find some other paper. So if this works, even as a stopgap, like an emergency thing, then it was well worth it, and it'll be great. So we're gonna test it today. Let's see. I need the sand stuff. So I need these. All right, we'll start with the big one. We'll let that sit there. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with 80 grit. Right, I'm going to hook up my vacuum. We won't be talking as much then. It'll just. I fully expect you guys to all mute your your streams. Nice, Steph. Nice. Matthew, I'm going to use your box as a live build. In fact, I'm probably going to start it next week. I just want to. I got to draw it up. So I don't mess up. Like something like a stool. I mean, that's easy. If you mess up, you just make it a little smaller. It's not a big deal. But your display box, I have something special in mind for that. So I think that's going to be a live build. Perfect. Awesome. Thanks. Oh yeah, homemade mac and cheese, huh? Nice. All right. So I'm going to annoy you guys with the shop vac. This one's not a terribly loud shop vac. It's a Craftsman one. I don't know that makes a difference, but it's not terribly loud. I have to knock the dust off the filter though, or it'll be stupid loud. But it's not really loud. So, in fact, I think the sander is louder than the shop vac. But I can't find my rubber fittings, so I had to buy these stupid little adapters to just jam it in there. Yeah, I was very surprised with it and how quiet it was. And then I haven't used it in a long time, and when I brought it out here and I finally fired it up, and I was like, with a quieter tool, not a shop planer or whatever. I was like, man, that is super quiet. That is awesome. All right, so what we're going to do is I want this to stay relatively flat. So I know I have a little bit of a snipe on this side from the planer. So we're going to draw all over it, right? You don't want to press too hard. You don't want it to stick down in the grain. And I'm going to angle you guys down here so you can still see if Tiny Tim pops out. I think you can still see. Maybe we'll move you over here a little bit. How's that? All right. All right, gonna sand this real quick, and then we'll move on to these other two. We'll flip this, move on to the other two. We just want to get the pencil marks gone. Then we're gonna step up a grit and continue through there. Hi, Wayne. Thanks for popping in, buddy. Let's turn that off. Thanks for popping in, buddy. I greatly appreciate it. Just sanding up our stool. Getting an 80 grit sand on it. And then we'll, I got one more leg to do. And then we will, we'll step up the grit. Nice, 20 likes. Awesome. Thanks, guys. Yeah, definitely enjoy your time with your wife. That's awesome, man. Enjoy that. Thanks for stopping in. Thanks for the like. Early Christmas dinner. That's awesome. All right, guys. I got one more to do to 80 grit. Get rid of this pencil mark here. I think I got rid of all these pencil marks. You could. So I spent a little extra time going on this side because you can see the jigsaw had left some marks on it. So, in fact, and I don't know if you guys can see that on stream. There, you see this line right here? That's snipe from the planer. So I'll go back over that side there. I didn't notice that till just now. This one, however, doesn't seem to have any snipe. But all right, I'm gonna go ahead and knock out. I'm gonna go ahead and knock this out while you guys talk amongst yourselves. Thank you. You know what? I'm not mad at this paper. I'm really not. Thanks everybody who's watching. I appreciate you guys. At 21 likes now. That's awesome. I think that's the most. I think that's the most likes I've had on a live stream while it was rolling. Greatly appreciate it. You guys are the greatest. All right, so we're gonna step this up. Now I still have to sand this side, like the edge grain, on all three pieces. But that we're gonna sand lightly with them stuck together, like upright, so that I can have a nice flat surface and not get cattywampus. But all we're really gonna focus on is just trying to get rid of the saw marks, which you guys can see right there. Because then we're gonna round it over and we gotta sand again with just a light hand sand. It won't be anything crazy. All right, so I'm gonna step up my grit. Always want to blow your work off, wipe it off, whatever you want to do. It doesn't really matter. when you switch grits. Especially, so if you're using your sandpaper like this, little bits of grit can fall off, get stuck in the wood, and then you come after it with 120 or whatever, and you got an 80 grit piece in there that's just grinding it up. So we are going to step up to 120 because that's what the next one in this little pack is. And you know what? This paper, still good. Still feels good. Nice and aggressive. It's not bad. I'm not angry at this paper. And it is ceramic. Everybody should be using ceramic sandpaper. It's longer lasting. Pretty much every test of people doing sandpaper tests, they'll use actual machines and they'll collect the dust and tell you how much dust was taken off of it in a period of time, blah, blah, blah. How much pressure was used on it, etc. Much more scientific than, yeah, this feels good. Pretty much every test, ceramics are always at the top. They're more expensive papers, but if you can get 2 uses out of this one as you would one of the other paper, the silicon carbide or whatever it is, zirconic, whatever it is, then it makes more sense. You know what I mean? Country, what's up, buddy? Thanks, Wayne. I appreciate that. All right, so I'm going to hit this with 120. We're going to go over it, and I'll be honest, I probably won't go to 220 on it. We'll see what 120 feels like. But I definitely won't go any tiny higher than 220 because there's absolutely no need for it. Not on something that's going to get stepped on. All right, so let me sand this real quick. not going to be the fanciest step stool ever. So all I'm doing is I'm taking it and I'm shining it. I'm looking at it with the light shining kind of across it to see if there's any marks. So it'd be like taking a light, sticking it here to shine across it, because then any imperfections you'll see. It's better to catch them now than before you put finish on them. We're not going to go to 220. Not yet, anyway. We might after we do the routing. We may do a light hand sand. But I'm going to put some tape on the bottom of the router so it doesn't scratch everything up. So 220 is about the max that I usually go on things. Yes, country, I am. In fact, I have one that'll be going on the laser here shortly. After those 2 cutting boards are done. And some other laser stuff is done for Cleveland. Yeah, I'll be making a sign again. Tiny Tim's cutting boards. That's funny. Alright, so I'm going to sand this one. And this is the last one that I have to sand, and we just got to hit the edges before we run the router on it. Because the router bearing, any little dips and stuff in it, the bearing will follow those. And then the round over won't be smooth, it'll be wavy. And we don't want that. So we're going to hit all those sides. The end grains look really nice, but the edge grains, you can see they got somewhere. So that's no good. No bueno. Sorry, I couldn't resist. Yeah, nope. No problem, country. No problem. Guys, I'm really sorry. I didn't realize that it was 6:30. Thanks, Bruno. So I didn't realize it was 6:30. So how about we'll give you guys a preview of what it looks like, what it will look like, and we'll finish it next week, or I might even finish it tomorrow if. Might even finish it tomorrow if I get caught up on other stuff. If I can find a spot that's not all cattywampus on my bench. Oh. There we go. Let's do there. So there's what she's looking like so far. Right? Yeah, we got a nice fitment. We'll get her glued up. I gotta sand all the sides. I'll do the sanding off stream for you guys, so that way you don't have to suffer through that. But I will. Yeah, just a hammer required. Yeah, I think. Oh. Well, we're not going to drive that one in yet. But I think, yeah, that'll get set down in, but I don't want to fight it to take it apart. I just sanded it. Yeah, I think we'll end it here. I don't. We'll end it there. We'll look over here and see if Tiny Tim's out. I don't see Tiny Tim. That's my garden hose right there. It comes up through the floor over there. There's also my power. Yeah, I don't see Tiny Tim. Nuts. But that's, oh gosh. Oh no. I don't know how to, there we go. So there's our preview of it. We'll finish it up next week or tomorrow if we all get bored. I probably won't do it tomorrow though, because I do have to get those done, and I got to get a sign panel glued up. But she's nice and smooth, pretty. Man, legs don't fall out. What I'll probably do is I will get it measured and get a stretcher cut off stream. I'll finish the sanding up off stream, and then I'll leave it there, and we'll finish it up together at some point. All right, guys. I think we're going to leave it there. Thanks a whole bunch for those of you guys that are going to go over to Turner Fishing's live here in a little while. We'll see you there. But I appreciate y'all stopping in and watching me play with wood. Maybe one of you guys will feel inspired to build something. If you do, send me an email. Let me see what you got. We'll see y'all guys later. Thank you.